I'm Charles Allen, CEO of the C.W. Allen Group and chairman of TIA's Exhibiting ROIQ Academy. The purpose of TIA's Exhibiting ROIQ Academy is to help its exhibitors and event marketers achieve dramatically higher levels of success and ultimate return on investment. The fact of the matter is that most marketing in today's marketplace does not work. The reason it doesn't work is because inside reality, the reality of companies, their service level, their quality level, their personnel, etc., doesn't really match up with outside perception. And it is impossible to cut through the clutter and to connect and facilitate the decision-making process when inside reality does not match outside perception. We have to go back a little bit to understand kind of how we got to the state that we are today. Beginning in 1948, television changed everything. When relatively few competitors could afford to hog up all the airwaves, and what were there? Do you remember the 3 channels? Maybe you got 2. I think we got 1, and you had to put the tinfoil on the antenna to even get it to come in. And of course, these relatively few competitors could sling enough creative mud against the wall, and naturally it would stick. So the recipe for success was simple: C&R, which stands for creativity and repetition. Pop, pop, fizz. Of course, you guessed it, don't squeeze the what? Of course, you know the Charmin. That commercial hasn't run in 25 years, but yet you remembered it. But of course, that was yesterday. Well, you see, today, C&R no longer works because we no longer have relatively few competitors, but literally, competitors are almost infinite. We have ubiquitous information. We don't have low technology. We have high technology, and these forces have led to anything but the days of simple selling, which we had all the way up to about the 1980s. Today, the buyer has all the power. We have a high resistance situation, and because marketers today, including event marketers, are using these old outdated formulas of C&R, creativity, and repetition, which really do nothing but interrupt people. You know, believe it or not, the lizards that sell insurance and the caveman on Geico are never meant to sell insurance. They're meant simply to interrupt long enough to engage, long enough to articulate a value proposition. Today's marketing, for it to be effective, and specifically for event marketing, it must be able to cut through the clutter, it must be able to connect, and it must be able to facilitate today's longer buying cycles, with the buyer having all the information, the buyer having an infinite number of choices, the buyer having technology, and it is the seller's responsibility not just to interrupt with something creative, but to engage and then to educate. That is to say, to facilitate the decision-making process, and then to allow the buyer to take the next low-risk step in today's longer buying cycles. Here at Toy Fair 2008, we're going to look at some of the exhibitors, some of the event marketers that are practicing not only perfection as it relates to strategic booth presentations that follow that formula, IEEO equals results: interrupt, engage, educate, and low-risk offer, to help the buyer take the next easy step in today's longer buying cycles. When this formula is applied, most sales close themselves. We're also going to look at mastery of boothmanship, some of the proven principles, and we're going to look at some booths that perhaps we could work a little bit to hone the formula for next year's show. Stay tuned.